recommended for black against the e4 move, accelerated dragon. But in a lot of times, white does not allow accelerated dragon by departing to various different variations of Sicilian, such as c3 or maybe the gambit or maybe the wing gambit, which is b4, c takes b. And there are various different possibilities, including closed Sicilian. But there are no developments that I can bring you in last several months. So what in those variations, but where are some developments is in Grand Prix. Just the way we play, but we are on the other side of it. So we play for black. Now, we have to know that we play knight d4. You see, when we play for white, we have to explore here many different possibilities for black. d6, we have to be prepared. e6, knight d4, a6, and so on. But for black, if we play knight d4, and we know here that white has several opportunities, such as bishop d3, the move that I was recommending several years ago. Bishop d3, but there's a bishop c4. Sometimes they play castle or a4. Well, when we play for white, I strongly recommend castling, because bishop d3 I don't like anymore, and we're going to discuss other possibilities for black as well. On bishop d3 we will go d6, and now white is practically forced to take the knight on d4 because of the bishop g4 threat. Okay, so what white does, white plays knight takes d4, c takes d, and knight to e2. And I think there are several ways for black to get a good position, and one of them is e5. But again, this position, this concrete position, and this variation does not deserve too much attention. I'll just bring you quickly one simple variation that promises black very good position. And that's knight f6. After knight f6, it's obvious if white takes on d4, we will take on e4, and we're going to have good position. What else can white do? White can castle or go c3. If white castles, we castle also, and this position is already not good for white. They're supposed to play c3 on a previous move, because c3 now is going to create certain problems for white. Black goes e5. It's very important to play e5 because if white takes, black takes, and pawn on d4 kind of blocks white's dark square bishop development, and then rook e8 next move. Knight takes d4 obviously loses to queen b6, and in this position white is facing problems with development. Now the reason why I said white has to play c3 before they castle, because now we will take on c3. Because e5 I wouldn't recommend now, because I think white has some advantage. After c takes d, e takes d, you see there is a big difference that neither side castled, because white has this very important check. which allows them to play d3 next move and protect the e4 pawn. We'll see if we had castled and we have this position now bishop cannot go to b5 because the e4 pawn hangs. Bishop cannot go to c4 for the same reason. So what white should do, let's consider the best possibility for white, which is c3 immediately. We take and d takes c. Black castles, white castles. Normally you do castle moving king first. So, and now black can go either b5. White cannot take because of queen b6 check. Whether either b5 or d6 or b6, following but bishop b7, and black has very good position. I wasn't happy with this position when I was playing with white. That's why I switched as white in this position in this position. That's why I switched from bishop d3 to the castling move. So that's about as much as you need to know what to do on bishop d3. Then again, sometimes white plays a4. Now on a4 again, you have all variety of good continuations. Well, one of them is actually knight f6, which is not bad on e5, knight h5. But e6 is good. If white castles, we simply play knight e7. And if white goes d3 now, the problem becomes this bishop on b5. We can castle and then go d5, and bishop on b5 is kind of out of place and may get in trouble too. But if white plays knight in this position, we just played e6. On a4, we play e6. On castle, we go knight e7. Okay, now suppose white takes on d4. We take, and white goes knight e2. Then we castle. Now, if d3, which white should do probably, black has various good continuations. They can go simply d5. This is one. And if white goes e5, they lose a piece immediately. d5 is one good move. And the second good move is f5. It's a very good move because now if white goes e5, then d6. White now is forced to take on d6 because after knight takes d4, de, they are in a lot of trouble. And after e takes d, queen takes d6. Black has beautiful outpost for knight on d5. Bishop is going to go on b7. And black has a serious advantage. Black has very serious advantage. This position is not good. So a4 move does not create any problems for black, and maybe the other way around. a4, it used to be popular at some point, a4, but after knight d4, a4, because we simply go e6 and knight e7. If you want to explore knight f6 move, I can tell you this is also a very good move. So, but we stopped on e6, and that's more than enough. That's all we should know, and let's just go on. Now, let's go with the move that after knight d4 that we play ourselves, castle. Now, the question, very typical question for those positions, if we say that we get for white an advantage in this position, how can we get an equality for black in this position? Well, it's like a contradiction of terms, but it's not so. We never claim to have an advantage here for white when we played for white. What we claim to have, we claim to get position that we are familiar with, and we know what the plans are, and we can play it. We can play without having any problems in the middle game. So after castling, black, it's right now it's black's move. Well, black can go e6. e6 is a good move. Also, knight takes b5 is a good move. Now, we have to stop on one of them, e6 or knight takes b5. After e6, if white goes d3, we're going to go knight e7. And if white takes knight takes d4, c takes d, knight e2, and we castle. Don't be in a hurry to kick this bishop by playing a6, because bishop, the best thing white can do is to walk to a4 and b3 voluntarily, because attempt to win the d4 pawn will definitely fail, because black has simply d6, and this pawn structure is highly favorable for black. Knight has various outposts here, and weak e3 square, open c file. So this all very good for black. White should not play e5. Now, suppose white goes bishop a4, or maybe queen e1 followed by queen f2. That's how we play for white. Normally, that's the plan. But then we can simply go d5. And if white goes e5, our pawn on d4 is not in trouble, because we can go simply queen b6, bishop a4, and f6. See, at some point, white is going to be forced to take. We're going to take on f6 with the bishop. I'm not claiming an advantage here for neither side. Knight f5, it's very playable position. Maybe queen d6, b6, and bishop b7. Maybe just queen d6, and it's good for black to exchange this light square bishops, because then c2 pawn is going to become weak after rook c8. So there are no concrete variations. Giving black an advantage or white an advantage. What you have to know, there are certain forced variations you have to avoid, and certain dangers of the position, and then you have to know the basic plans, what you should do here. Bishop b5, knight d4, and if castle, I would go e6. Of course, you can go a6 first and e6, but you can also go knight takes b5, knight takes b5, and d5. But this is most ambitious continuations for black. But the reason why I don't want to go into it, analyzing in details, because my my target is to give you position that is easy to play and you can learn quick. D5 needs a lot of studying, and if you want to know about it, I may do the DVD on this in the future, or you can go and explore latest games with these positions. Search for it, and for those who is interested in getting, who is very ambitious in openings, they can explore possibilities with D5. But if you're looking for shortcut to get out of the opening with a reasonable position and have a clear plan for a middle game, that's the way to do it. Well, this is all that I could tell you that may be new in Grand Prix. Now, I have to tell you there are some positions